In the dark of the midnight have I oft hid my face, while the storm holds above me, and there's no hiding place. Near the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry. Keep me safe until the storm passes by. Till the storm passes over, till the thunder sound no more, till the clouds forever roam the sky. Hold me fast, let me stay in the hollow of thy hand. Keep me safe until the storm passes by. When the long night has ended and the storm comes no more, let me stand in your presence on the bright peaceful shore, in the land where the tempest never comes. You keep me safe till the storm passes by. Till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds rise forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of your hand. You keep me safe till the storm passes by. You keep me safe till the storm passes by. Sing unto Yahuwah our strength. Make a joyful shout to the Elohim of Jacob. Sound the sweet timbrel and the sweet sounding lyre. Blow the trumpet, blow the shofar, ram's horn at the new moon. At the time of the solemn feast, blow the shofar in the new moon, in the time appointed of the solemn feast. For this is a statute to Israel and the law to the Elohim of Jacob. Good evening, world. 6 days have now come to its end since the Sabbath of the first quarter of the moon of the 9th biblical lunar month, KISLEV 8, 6007. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day, Yahuwah ended his work which he has made, and rested on the 7th day. Thus Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. This evening I am on the street, and I have to admit that there are noises around me. Other events are taking place. So this video may not be clear. I may need to remove from this area to where there is less traffic and less sounds around me. But just in case I am unable to do so, I am here just to acknowledge Yahuwah's Sabbath and to declare that Yahuwah's Sabbath is not Saturdays as we once taught. We now know that Yah has allowed Constantine to remove his Sabbaths from the new moon and from the phases of the moon. I say this because it is written in Yah's word all along that he has caused his Sabbaths to be forgotten because of Israel's rebellion and idolatry. You can see before me that the full moon is above, bearing witness that his Sabbath is here. Yahuwah has used the new moon, the moon and the stars, along with the sun, for times, for the feast days, for days, and for years since the 4th day of creation, and time was measured by the sun, moon, and stars until man change or remove Yah's Sabbath from the faces of the earth, of the moon, for because we can see that the first clock was not invented until 1556. Therefore, the Sabbath is determined by the moon. I am going to just read here for us that it was Yahuwah who causes Sabbath to be forgotten, and I now wonder, why is it so hard and so difficult for his people to acknowledge his Sabbath, even when we are told that it is Yahuwah who have caused his Sabbaths to be forgotten? And I'm just going to read this because Yah was so angry with Israel. It says here, in the fierce anger, he has cut off the horns, the strength, pride of Israel. He has approached his right hand at the approach of the enemy. He burned against Jacob. We're going to see that. He burned against Jacob like a flame of fire. He which devour on every side. He bent his bow like an enemy. His right hand was prepared like an adversary. He has slain all who were pleasing in the eyes of the tabernacle of the daughters of Zion. He has poured out his fury. Yahuwah became like an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel. He has swallowed up her palaces. He has destroyed her fortresses and has increased mourning and lamentation in the daughter of Judah. He has laid waste his tabernacles as if it were a garden. He has destroyed his palaces. He has destroyed his place of congregation. Yahuwah has caused the appointed feast and Sabbaths to be forgotten in Zion. In the indignation of his anger, he has despised the king and the priests. Verse 7 says, Yahuwah has rejected his altar. He has abhorred his sanctuary. He has gave over to the enemy the walls of his palaces. They have made a noise in the house of Yahuwah, as though it were an appointed feast. I'm going to read verse 8 also. Yahuwah planned to destroy the walls of the daughters of Zion. He has stretched out a line. He has withdrawn his hand from destruction. So he made a rampant and wall lament. Together they languished. So we see that Yahuwah became angry with Israel because Israel have polluted his Sabbaths, his laws, and his statutes. And for that reason, Yahuwah has caused Constantine to remove the Sabbath from the moon phases and has hidden it among the working days of the week. And so as this is so, I am just encouraging us to realize that Yahuwah's Sabbath is a sign between him and his people forever throughout all generations. And Yahuwah said in Exodus 31 verses 12 through to 7 that his Sabbath is a perpetual sign between him and his people forever throughout their generations. Yahuwah declared that whosoever profane his Sabbaths and do any work on his Sabbath, that person would be put to death and be cut off from among his people. We notice that of all the commandments that Yahuwah is very strict when it comes to his Sabbaths. And we are told in Yah's word that it's not that the problem Yah had with Israel was the breaking of his Sabbaths. And it can be seen that the problem is still here with Israel. As a matter of fact, Israel doesn't know who they are because we were taken into captivity over and over because we rejected the Sabbath of Yahuwah. I'm going to read something for us in Amos, which talks about how Israel despised Yah's laws and worshiped the planet Saturn in the wilderness. This Saturn, which Saturday is named after, I'm going to read. Where can I start? Okay. I'm not sure where to begin. I'm not sure where to begin. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm going to just start. And it was a punishment because Israel had rejected Yahweh's Sabbath. Okay, Yahweh's counsel to us is that we should hate evil, love righteousness, establish justice in the gates. It may that Yahuwah Almighty of hosts, Elohim of hosts, be merciful to the remnant of Yoshif. Therefore, this is what Yahuwah, the mighty Elohim of hosts, says. Wailing will be in every street, and they will say, and will say on every highway, alas, alas, they have summoned the husbandmen to the mourning, and the professional mourners to lamentation. In every vineyard will be wailing, for I will walk through your midst, says Yahuwah. Woe to you who long for the day of Yahuwah. What benefit is the day? Let me say it again. Woe to you who long for the day of Yahuwah. What benefit is the day of Yahuwah to you? The day of Yahuwah is darkness and not light. It will be as though a man escaped from a lion, but a bear met him, or went into the safety of his house, lean his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of Yahuwah be darkness and not light, very obscure, with no glimmer of it in it? I despise your own feast, because the feast they were proclaiming was their own, not that of Yahuwah. Similar to what is taking place right now with the pagan holidays, the Thanksgiving, the Christmases, the Easters, and all those days are the feasts, are man's own feast. I despise your feast days. I take no delight in your own appointed assemblies. Though you offer me burnt offering and grain offering, I will not accept them, nor will I regard the peace offering of your fatted calves. Remove from me the noise of your songs. I will not listen to the melody of your string instrument. But let justice run down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream. That is what Yahuwah wants. That is what Yahuwah requires. Justice and righteousness. Verse 25 says, was it to me you brought sacrifice and offerings in the wilderness 40 years? O house of Israel? Instead, you have lifted up your idolatrous temple to Molech, your god, El, and Chime, your star god, El, Saturn, the star of your god El, which you made for yourselves. Therefore, I will send you into captivity beyond Damascus, says Yahuwah, whose name is Yahuwah of hosts. Yes, this is what Israel have been guilty of. And this is what we have been doing today as well. Because we have forgotten Yahuwah's Sabbath. I do know that we once thought we were keeping his Sabbath when we were keeping Saturday. But we were actually worshiping Saturn, the star god as they call it, the star El. Now that we know these things, I would just ask that we be faithful. I would just ask that we become like our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It has not been brought out to us how much Yahuwah appreciates our obedience. It is not been taught to us how Yahuwah elevates those who pleases him and keep his commandments. Because what we have been taught in our time was taught to us by those who enslave us, those who have separated us from our culture, from our way of worship, those who taught us that Yah's laws are nailed to a cross. Those are the teaching that we received. But it is not enforced. How much Yahuwah stand up for those who obey him and for those who keep his laws. We can recall that when Daniel and his companions were enslaved in Babylon, and Daniel and his companions was found to be the wisest among the Babylonians, that Daniel was offered or invited to eat at the king's table. Yet Daniel did not. Daniel did not. He refrained from eating at the king's table, and he said that he would not defile himself, but the chefs should give them water and pulse. And it came to pass that after 3 weeks of eating water and pulse, and a test was performed to see who was the smartest, wisest, and healthy men among the people of Babylon, among the wise men of Babylon. Daniel and his companions came out to be 10 times wiser. I can only encourage us at this point to obey Yah and have life, receive life. And I'm noticing that it's not only Daniel and the three boys who walked in the fire and was delivered by Yah, but Abraham himself was placed in a fire, and he walked in the fire for 3 days, and nothing happened to him. Let us stand for Yahuwah. I wish I had more time, but I can see that my time is running down. Let us keep Yahuwah's Sabbath. This is the Sabbath of the full moon, and there is the moon bearing witness to Yah's Sabbath. It is the full Sabbath of the full moon of the 9th biblical month, KISLEV, 15th, 6007, and this is the second of the 4 Sabbaths that will be on Sundays on Rome's Gregorian calendar. Holy Sabbath day of rest, by you shall richly blessed. It to us a sign shall be, throughout all eternity. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gate into the city. Have a happy Sabbath. Shalom. For if you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the bread of the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword. Isaiah 1:19 and 20. For the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken it. Shalom.